We are in the final one for this series called Identity Crisis. And it's been a process for those of you that have been along with us of essentially asking one question in a variety of different ways as we seek to be the church here in the 21st century, to be relevant, to be real to what we've always been, and as effective as possible. What can we have our confidence in? And we've asked that in all kinds of different ways, and really, it's I think it comes from a great heart posture that I sense in each and every one of you, and I want to affirm that today for us as a congregation as a whole, and as I talk to each one of you, a posture of I want to make sure that the life that I'm living and the choices that I'm making are leading to the end that Jesus wants to lead us to. That we're going to be effective in continuing the mission that Jesus has left for us. More than that, we know that our time and our resources are limited, and that life is already full in all kinds of ways. So what is going to be the most effective way to use the time that I have, or to pull from the psalmist? Lord, help us to count our days so that we make our days count. What's going to be the most effective for us finding that life to the fullest? Because Jesus made that promise. He said, I've come in order that you might have life and life to the fullest. What's going to lead to that? What's going to be the most effective way for getting us there? And we know that there's something about that life to the fullest that's going to be in the fulfilling of his mission to be salt and light in the world. And as we came into this series, Identity Crisis, I'm pretty sure most of us were not at that place of identity crisis. In fact, most of us were pretty content where we were at. Quite honestly, before Pastor Brian and I were stirring in all this, I was too. But it's been a progressive process of chipping away at our confidence that we might actually get to that spot of identity crisis. It's been leading you to question things like, do I really claim and live and embrace this calling to be salt? Do I really identify that as mainly who I am, to be the salt, the plan A, the way that God's message would come out into the world? Or asking that question, has the way that we do church become more valuable to me than the one who built the church? Because I just want to keep doing the things the way that we've always done it. It's been leading us to question our confidence in the way that we go about it. Have we largely been trying to accomplish the mission of church at church and neglecting the rest of the times, the power of influence in our homes and all of those hours and relationships there? It's been leading us to question our relationship with our Father. I think it was put really pointedly when a relationship that maybe as we take a quick glance at it, say, yeah, it's going pretty good, but to what extent is that relationship one where we're regularly calling it good, even though we just kind of treat it like a social media relationship where we just check in or comment or like every once in a while and assume that we can do this efficiently? Or last week, Pastor Brian did a great job inviting us to question how confident we can be in our hearts. Is my heart one that is postured toward the outsider, that is concerned about the one that doesn't yet know, love, and follow Jesus? Or is it a heart that is more inclined to build walls and build a place of protection and make sure that I turn out okay? And the result of all of this, at least it's been for me, I don't know what it's been like for you, but I hope this got you here. I feel like I lack confidence that I indeed am fully living. I mean, I hope you heard the gospel all along the way, but it's chipped at my confidence in these things, or that we're at all effective, at least that I am at all effective in the task of salting the world. I look at my own life and life up till this point, and if indeed being salt in the world is making disciple makers that are going to make disciple makers of other people that don't yet know Jesus, that are going to disciple other people who don't yet know Jesus, so that they would do the same. And how many disciples have I made? Have you asked that question of yourselves yet? Because that is the mission before us. The goal in all of it really was, in some ways, to get you to that spot of identity crisis, to knock down all the false confidences that you might have so that we can truly hear the answer to this question: where does your confidence lie, or where should it, as we strive to live this life to the fullest that is living out the mission of Jesus? What's firm enough? What's solid enough that I can trust that if I live in this way, that'll actually lead me to the place where Jesus wants me to go, where ultimately I do want to go as well. And that, I find clarity in the words to the Hebrews. They were read just a minute ago, and I want to put a couple of them up there. We have confidence by the blood of Jesus. Our confidence cannot be, will not be, should not be in anything except that and that alone, that he has opened the way of a new life to him. Let me read it to you. We have confidence to enter the most holy place by the blood of Jesus. We have confidence to enter and be in the presence of God as one that is loved and cared for and has the authority and power to be there because of the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way open to us, open for us through him, through his body, through the sacrifice that he made in our place. He opened this new way, and this is who we are because of him. That we already have, you already have been delivered to you this life to the fullest. We already are those who are salt. There is no being in without getting all of that, but to fully experience this gift that is surely already ours, that we can be confident has been delivered to us, not because of us, but because we know what Jesus' blood has accomplished, what his death and resurrection has done for us, that he brings new life for us. In order to fully experience this life, we need to live the life that he's given us, which is a patterning our lives after his lives. And it's been great as we've walked through this series to see what that life was about and see what's unique to it and what we should be investing in for the pattern of our lives. And we've come to summarize it in this way. I think it's easier. It's a 1, 2, 3 kind of thing. There is one mission that happens in 2 places that pursues 3 relationships. The one mission to be disciple makers, the 2 places gathered together and scattered out in our homes and in wherever God takes us from here, and 3 relationships. A relationship with the Father, a relationship with other believers, and a relationship with non-believers. Or to put it even shorter, because I feel like this is something that we need to hold on to. With this 1, 2, 3 is easy to hang on to, and I think this makes the 3 relationships even easier to hang on to. Think of them as up, in, and out. 1, 2, 3, up, in, out. Up to the Father, into other believers, and out to those who don't yet know, love, and follow Jesus. We see this pattern as we looked in the New Testament and the church and how it's grown. And I think it's been a great experience as we've walked through this and seen how it's lived out in those places, because we've seen it lived in a way that's in a completely different culture and time than what we've had here. They weren't living in single-family homes. It was multiple families all living together like a family reunion kind of thing, multiple generations. There were no church buildings, but they gathered publicly in a public space. There were no organs or bands in order to lead the worship, but they still gathered around God's word with other believers for meals and were dedicated to prayer. Here's one. They had no seminary-trained pastors, but yet there were still people assigned and called and put in that office. Why do I point out the differences? Because the point isn't to adopt a former culture in order to live here in the 21st century. The point is to see what's essential and realize that fully living can be fulfilled and accomplished in lots of ways. That the life of Jesus, these patterns, this up, in, and out, these 3 relationships in 2 places that accomplish the one mission, it guides us about how to stay on mission here, and becomes a filter that we can use as we notice this immense shift in our culture and look at what we have been doing and wonder whether it's still the most effective, and wonder what to continue, what to adapt, and what to leave as something that happened and worked great in the past, and we'll decide based on these things. Does it accomplish the one mission? Are we making sure that that mission is strived to be lived out in both places, in the gathered place and in the scattered places? And are we individually and as we gather together collectively pursuing all three of these relationships, up, in, and out? So as we look at a worship service, we'll know whether or not we should keep doing and meeting here on Sunday morning by whether or not is it accomplishing these things. Well, is it a gathered thing? Yes. Is it doing up, in, or out? I think so. It does up pretty well. We get to come before the Father. It does in pretty well as we connect and care for one another, but it doesn't do everything that's needed, so that scattered expression of it is still needed as well. It won't answer every question, but it sets priority for what's in and what we're ultimately aiming for. We worked to erode your confidence to some extent as we've walked to this point, and I want to make sure that you don't stay there and that you hear super clearly where your confidence can be, that will actually lead you to the place that Jesus wants to bring it. And it lies in Jesus and his life, and that alone. You are not without confidence, either for your own salvation or for how to live this life that you've now been saved to live. But as soon as you arrive there, which I hope that you fully can, you have this confidence. Know that that is just a mile marker along the way. Open up your Bibles, in fact, and I want to show you how this goes. We're in Hebrews chapter 10, starting at verse 19. So if you got a digital version of the Bible, feel free to do that, or just ask Siri, hey, open up to Hebrews chapter 10, verse 19. She'll get you there. I'm going to read through here in Hebrews. It's toward the end of the New Testament, almost to the end of the Bible. And those words that I shared before, that we have this confidence by the blood of Jesus into this new and living way that's been opened through us, come starting with a therefore, at verse 19. Therefore, brothers and sisters, those of you that are in the family of God, those that have been claimed by the waters of baptism and know this saving faith, since we have confidence, so it's not just that you have confidence, but since you have this, now you get to live in these ways. Since you have this confidence to enter the most holy place, to be able to come before God by the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way open to us through the curtain that is his body. God is opening this place to himself through Jesus Christ. And since we have a great high priest over the house of God, that Jesus now stands in that place where he goes before God on our behalf, and we can come to him because of him. Number one, let us draw near to God with a sincere heart and a full assurance of faith. Really a push back to these three relationships. Lean into that up relationship. Because you've got this, lean in here. Draw near to God. In both places. In fact, Lifeway research says that the most transformative, let me say this right. Lifeway research said the thing that is most correlated with life transformation is consistent time in God's Word. The thing that's most correlated with life transformation for Christians is consistent time in his Word. And it can't just happen on Sunday mornings. It needs to be a day-to-day thing and within your own household. So draw near to God. Therefore, since you have this confidence, it is yours. Draw near to God. Lean into that up relationship. Hold fast to the hope that we have. Hold unswervingly to the hope that we profess, for he who promised is faithful. There is no question there. And you would think that at this point, since we have this confidence, since you can lean into this relationship and you can come to the Father directly, and what a privilege that is, and he is faithful in all this, now go tell other people about this awesome relationship you have and that they can have it too, but it isn't where it goes. What does it say? Verse 24, let us consider how we may spur one another on to love and good deeds. Let us not give up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but let us encourage one another. It's a leaning in, not just up, but then in to other believers for the sake of going out to those who don't yet follow. That's the next step. It's a leaning in and leaning together in this. And this isn't the only place this is said. In fact, Jesus said, the world will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. And Jesus, in the night when he was going to be betrayed and before he instituted the Lord's Supper, went and washed all of his disciples' feet and said, a new command that I give to you, love one another as I have loved you. He doesn't say go and love the world first and foremost, but go and love one another and let your gathering together be characterized by these things, and do it even more so. Going on to the end of the verse 25 there, and all the more as you see the day approaching. And friends, this is the exclamation point that puts everything into focus for me. Let me share what I mean. Essentially, it's saying that the way that you do this encouraging, the way that you do this loving one another, spurring one another on to love and good works so that you could lean in together, so that you'd be better at and more equipped for and more confident in leaning out and going to those non-believers, is by leaning in together. Do that better today than what you did yesterday, and better tomorrow than what you do today. And let me just put it on the pin of down to a single question. As you see the day approaching, is talking about the day when Jesus would return. When those that don't yet know, love, and follow Jesus will be forever separated from him, and there will be no more opportunity for them to enjoy this open relationship, this being in the presence of God, that we have confidence that he has indeed given to us, this life that he's granted to us. So let me just put it to you this way, a question. If you knew that 5 years from today, Jesus would return to end and judge the world, what would you start doing more of with other believers now? If the encouragement out of this confidence that we have is to lean in together, to encourage one another well, so that the mission happens, so that we're making disciple makers who make disciple makers, I guess first ask that question, am I doing that? And if not, how do I get there? What would you begin doing now? And I think it's important enough, and time is short enough, that I want to take time right now for you to answer that question. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Turn to the people next to you in the pew and have a conversation on this question. What would you start doing more of now if you knew that 5 years from this date, Jesus would be back? Go. I'm not a teacher. Well, I guess I get to teach up front here, but I'm not a teacher in a classroom. But I'm pretty sure if we don't talk about these things now and get a chance to spur one another on in this moment, this might get lost altogether. So let's hear what you had to say. And maybe you can do the, I'm going to say what this other person said so you don't have to own what it was you. So you don't have to tell me whether it's your thing or not. But what would someone start doing with other believers now if we only had 5 years left? What? Shout it out or raise your hand and I'll call on you. Yeah. Focus on equipping a group of believers. So there's some people that you would gather with and intentionally work at equipping them and say, this is what we're about because we only have 5 years left. We better figure this out. Awesome. What else? Create more believers. Yeah, that we would be striving that this would be what my life is about, and even just to state that this is what we're about. Yeah, all the way in the back. So noticing where the scattered are and intentionally trying to reach and have eyes for that. Great. What else? Yeah.
To sort of be like a spider and stick them in your web, believing in God.
Be like a spider and stick them in your web of believing in God. I love the imagery there.
Preach.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there something that's sticky? Is there a way that you could be a blessing, a way that you could welcome them into the fold of what's happening in your life? How many of you got to this point and said, I don't know, maybe I should pray? Anybody? That was my first one. I need wisdom in how to do this because I'm not sure I've got this figured out yet. Anybody talk about, I want to figure out who the believers are and who isn't yet? Anybody talk about that? Anybody talk about strategically looking for which ones among the non-believers that I know are most ripe for the harvest? The ones who are asking the most questions, the ones who are most curious, or maybe the ones who are feeling the most broken, that I might care for them? Yeah? What's that? Generation? Tell me more. Oh, to reach to the younger generation so that they can bless the generations that are still to come. So strategically, who am I investing in? Anybody talk about that I might tune myself to the Holy Spirit's lead in my life? Because if God is always present and at work, he must be leading me, and I don't know if I always hear the ways that he's prompting me. Why all of this? Because again, the mission is what you said, that we would be disciple makers and not just be those who stand and make promises and affirm these things on Sunday mornings, but this is a day-to-day, every time kind of thing. And it seems like an insurmountable task. Really, if we added it all up and all the people who don't yet know, love, and follow Jesus, what if we only had 5 years left? Is it possible? Well, I put that 5 years up there because we often underestimate what God can do through us in a year. We often overestimate what God can do through us in a year. And we often underestimate what he can do through us in 5. Jesus took 12 guys and invested in them for 2 years, and 11 of them turned out. And then those ones went to invest in others, and those to invest in others, and the spider web, if you will go out from there. But I wonder if, as you were saying these things, as you wondered about this, what obstacles did you notice would come along? And I feel like this is worth talking about, because if we only aim at what would be a good idea to do, but don't talk about the obstacles to get there, we're probably never going to do it. So I'm not going to let you talk on your own on this. Just shout it out. What are the obstacles to accomplishing some of those things that we would be aiming for in this? What are the obstacles? Shout them out. What? Fear. Thank you. Yes. Fear of what? Fear of rejection? Of judgment? Of how people will look at me? Sure, what else? Yeah. Health issues. So what capacity does my body have for this? What else? What are obstacles? Too busy. Thank you. That was the first one that came to mind for me. My calendar. There's all kinds of things that are making life full. What else? Anything? Yeah. One more time. I couldn't quite hear it. Well, I'm sorry. Incompetence. Yeah, I don't feel equipped for this. I don't know if I could do this. I'm not an extrovert. I can't go talk to people. God, how am I supposed to be one that goes about this mission in these ways? Count the cost. And friends, I'll be honest with you, the cost is probably even greater than what we can even fathom at this point. There are obstacles in the way, but there are probably even more that would come as we go about this fully living, this being Jesus' disciple. He said it's a giving up everything kind of thing. And he actually advises those that would come follow him. He says, consider the cost before you get there. Does a man go to build a tower without figuring out how much it's going to cost him? Is he going to look like a fool if he builds it halfway and doesn't get it all the way done? But he also talks about counting the cost from the other side. That if you count the cost of what the price will be, do you also consider what it is that you'll end up getting? And he says it this way: the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in joy went and sold all that he had and bought that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven, the thing that in confidence that we already have because of the blood of Jesus that's been shed on our behalf, it is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. Let me put it to you really simply. If the cost is too high for what is gained, then you don't understand the value yet of what is gained. If the cost is too high, if what we have to give up in our time, in our schedules, and what we're used to, and the way that I'm used to interacting, if that is too high for what is gained, that someone else, that I would fully experience the life that Jesus intends to give both in this life and in the time that is to come, if that isn't valuable enough for the cost that I've got, then you don't quite understand the life that Jesus wants to and has already. You can be confident he's given to you. And I got to thank the guys at Gravity Leadership for helping me see this and articulate this well. Let me share with you. Basically, it's this, that you don't have a fully formed picture of what life to the fullest is for you or for one that doesn't yet follow Jesus if you think the cost is too high. It's better than anything money can buy or prestige can feel in your life. It's about actual life. This is what you can say it is for you, and what you could tell someone is this is what you could be welcomed into. It's a life where you can learn to be at ease and at rest. It's a life where you can learn to drop your self-willfulness and allow joy to bubble up from within you. It's a life where you can learn to really love your life and be thankful for it, even though it might contain difficulties, persecution, or worse. Man, that sounds good. You'll love who you are and how great God created you, and you'll be able to love others from a full heart. Worry will increasingly fall away. You'll find that everything you really need is already taken care of moment by moment, and day by day you will experience a power operating in your life that makes it very difficult to have a bad day. Joy and peace will be with you even in the hardest of circumstances, running through you like a deep underground river. Man, that sounds good. Your thoughts and feelings can be transformed. You can learn to be confident and hopeful. You won't indulge in thoughts of rejection, despair, failure, hopelessness, because you'll know better. You'll be so aware of God's presence and grace around you that you will hardly remember how to be gloomy or negative. Man, is that awesome. You'll find that God works through your life to bring healing, joy, peace, and goodness to others. You will be filled with an inexpressible and glorious joy, and that's just on this side of eternity. Of course, it won't happen all at once. We'll have to learn how to do it. But if we take on Jesus' easy yoke that he's already, we can be confident he's already given to us, the yoke of discipleship, he will teach us as we begin living in those three relationships in both locations for the sake of that one mission, and he will mold us, and he will send others to help us. Friends, the prize is worth the price. And you have to decide how much longer you will wait to fully embrace the life and mission that you can be confident that God has given. How much longer? For the last day is only getting closer.